Dr. Gandhi, welcome to hpathy.com. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
My pleasure too.
Dr. Gandhi, I would like to speak to you about your experience with the sensation method and the other Song Academy that you are associated with. My first question to you would be that you have been associated with Dr. Sankran since last 15 years, and you have seen it evolving since the time when the focus of the group was on core delusion, then dreams, then sensation, then in the 7 levels. The whole classification has evolved. The concept of miasms and miasmatic classification has evolved over all these years. What has been your perception of this evolution of the whole method?
The whole idea is that few decades, the approach has been how to systematize or bring system into homeopathy. Homeopathy is the only science which was not having any sort of a system or any approach to it. What we would have is take the individualized symptoms, find a right rubrics from it and give some remedy. But we also believe that there are so many remedies. Everything in this universe can be a remedy. And we could only give remedies from the proven remedies. But there were many rare, not very well proved, and many more territories which we had not explored. So when you have a system, then what happens is suddenly you can see even include many other things. And this was a wonderful thing what Rajan Shankaran, what he has done with the sensation method. One thing is that not only the system, so when you have the kingdoms, then you have sub-kingdoms, and you have qualities of each, then you can think of many more remedies in that particular thing. Similarly in the plants, with the sensation, whatever he has come. So I think we have a map. I think maps are very important because maps tell us where to look for a remedy. And it is one more additional tool. Let's say if I put in a remedy, I put it by repertorization, and I get, let's say, 7-8 remedies, 2 of plants, 2 of minerals, 2 of something else. But then which one I'm going to choose? So if you have a mapping system, then it can tell, okay, out of this 7, this particular remedy is most likely. So there are many ways in which a system can help. A system can help you to come to a remedy. A system can help you to choose a particular remedy from the repertorization, whatever you have. So it is much more grounded. And you can include a lot of remedies which have not yet been proved also, because you know the whole idea behind that particular remedy. So I think it has been very good. Another thing was that whatever provings are human expressions of the remedy. Let's say looked down upon by lac caninum. It's a human expression of the dog within you. But when you go deeper and deeper at the sensation level, it becomes even more clear when the patient starts giving expression of the exact source itself. So this was a wonderful thing what we did. And sometimes by this method, when we go deeper and deeper into the sensation method, we would come to a remedy, which is very clear because your patient, we take him to that non-human level. And now what Rajan Shankaran is doing is, one is to take them deep inside, at the same time ground you with the rubrics. So synergy. So you are neither only going in or only taking this, but when you have the same expression at the repertory level, rubrics level, at the keynote level or whatever, and materia medica, and at a sensation level, and when everything comes together at the delusion level, at emotional level, at physical level, at sensation level, then we are very sure what we are doing. So I think it's an amazing thing. And I also, being in psychiatry, for me it was very important because it was much more psychological, much more understanding. Before I would give remedy and we are not even sure about it. I'll give one patient Nux vomica and then say, oh, patient is not done better, next time I'll give Natramur, third time I'll give sepia. So there was nothing like, there's no base, there's no understanding. And I think with this method, suddenly things have become understood. Like today we saw this case of oleander. For me it was understood why this particular remedy was given. And then when you see into the repertory and the materia medica, you see wonderful that everything what we have been seeing about oleander, which we came by another method, is expressed in the material we have.
But when the oleander came out through the basic rubrics,
Yes.
hardcore rubrics, do we need this extension of the
Yes.
understanding?
Yes. Because sometimes what happens is you have many remedies. And if you say, let's say, ailments from, you could take your ailments from disappointment. You could have taken some other ailments and then you can have made a mistake. It's like what rubrics you take. And even after you take the rubrics, you will get 6, 8, 7 remedies.
Yes.
And then which one, how would you pick up oleander? On what basis will you pick oleander? You will always go for something known because you are more secure. Probably I'll give some remedy like Ignatia, which I am very more secure about.
Yes.
Right? So here you are open. You are much more open to other things. You are much more inclusive. But so you have to be more inclusive, more open, at the same time be much more grounded. I think this is a beautiful synergy, the beautiful combination. And place for everybody at every level. Every patient cannot go at sensation level. So we do not exclude giving at only rubric level or only fact level.
Yes. But at the same time, this opens the group to the very common criticism that a sensation group promotes unproved remedies. How do you deal with that criticism? Because Organon does say very clearly, Hahnemann was very, very categorical, that only well-proved remedies should be used, remedies that have been proved on healthy human beings. He was very categorical about it.
Yes.
How do you deal with that criticism?
Okay. First of all, we don't give only unknown remedies. Maybe sometime when we come to a seminar like this, let's say whatever Willie came here and he spoke about oleander. Here he wants to teach you something new. If he comes here and teaches in a seminar pulsatilla case, how many are going to get impressed or like it? They'll all go disappointed. So sometimes what we know of what we are doing here as teachers is only those unusual remedies presented in seminar. But in our daily practice, 90-95% or even 99% are regular, common, known remedies. But at the same time, we are not close to unknown remedies.
And how many patients actually reach to this level where you are able to get to the sensation of the patient?
You need not have to. There are many levels at which you can go deep. You can have maps like the periodic table in the mineral kingdom. We have similar periodic table like thing in the plants. So there is development, evolution. I see the patient, what level of development the patient is in. Like does a patient, what is he talking about? So sometimes we are picking up issues of the life. If the patient is all the time talking about money, security, health, his resources, people will take it away. So I know it's about the calcarea line. Or somebody is talking about guilt. So it tells me where to map. So it's not always take them to the level where they start dancing and moving their hands. Let's say in mineral kingdom we give. Somebody is talking all the time about power, about responsibility. I'll think of the aurum line.
And when you actually think of the theme of the case,
Yes.
Are you actually able to map that theme into rubrics?
Yes. It's only what you take first. Whatever the patient gives, you have to take.
Okay.
If the patient comes like today, Jayeshah's patient who's already somewhere there and start doing, why should we bring them to a level of a rubric function? Take the patient there and then also include other things. There are some patients who only tell you rubrics. They'll give you modalities. I've got joint pain and it radiates here. Better by this and by hot. So then you take those sometimes types of symptoms. Right?
Right.
So we don't decide. It's not that we take the patient sensation level all the time. We take the patient where he wants to take us. So we are much more flexible.
That's very good.
This is very important that we are not taking everybody. We are not twisting and turning the patient to make him make the hand gestures. In fact, those cases will fail.
Yes.
But we also have a knack where to probe, because once we have find out that this is the anchor, this is the main part of the case, this is where the sensation is. And if the patient puts some sensational word, then we say, can you go into it? Gentle probing into that area, giving that patient a little more space to be there so that he can express himself. If he is not there, he will move away from it.
Yes.
So it is just art of taking it. But it's not that every patient who comes, we take them to a level of sensation. Some people cannot. What do we do about children? We cannot take them that. We do take it, but not always. So what we have to do is, if I have to do with rubrics, sometimes they will talk about certain things which you cannot repertorize. And if I am going to restrict myself to remedies, then I can show you. Tomorrow also you will see some cases which were not there during the time of Hahnemann. But I have shown some wonderful cases, some very good results. Fortunately, oleander was there, which was proved by Hahnemann. But there are many more remedies. Tomorrow you will see some of the remedies which I might show, which were not proved in those days. But are we going to close ourselves and limit ourselves to what point Hahnemann stopped? It's a science. Science has to grow. It has to develop. It has to move on. Newer ideas have to come in. He has started a wonderful work. We don't have to stop it at that level. So we should not restrict ourselves to only the spoken words. Then it becomes like Bible. Then it becomes very restricting.
You have been a professional psychologist, and so I think you are the right person to ask this question to. Many people feel that the very long consultations that this group has promoted, 1 hour, 2 hours, sometimes even more, and taking the patient to a level where he is able to understand his core problems, taking the patient into a meditative state, can lead to a placebo cure. And many people feel that majority of cases which actually go to this level are not the effect of the new unproved remedies that are often shown in the seminars, but they are the effect of the long case taking. How do you counter that?
This is the same thing people talk about homeopathy.
Yes.
That's a placebo cure. How do you counteract it? So there is nothing like it. And there is nothing like placebo and no placebo. As it is, we as homeopaths are more going into, more welcoming, more going into their symptoms, talking with them. So there are so many things. Even an allopath, when he is talking, I can be a very authoritative figure. Somebody comes because he looks at me as a guru. Or I am like a father figure for somebody who has asked me questions. So there are so many things at play. So many things at play. And also I believe is that we have also, it's just like where the patient takes, it also depends on where is my strength. Everybody doesn't have to do what Jayesh Shah does, or Rajan Shankaran does, or Mahesh Gandhi does. Everybody has to finally find their own path. Like we read in Madhushala today, in the beginning.
Yes.
That there are many ways to the truth. There is no single way. And when we try to make everybody has to follow this particular way, that is the problem. Problem is there are many ways. Some ways the patient wants to take us, some ways where we are more comfortable. So very often I get a patient and I feel this is a very good case for Jayesh. I'll tell Dr. Jayesh, you take, this is the best for you. So when we work like a team here, we have many approaches, many different people, and we have place for everybody. So this is very open-mindedness. You see what Dr. Rajan Shankaran says, that we open, we let everybody come here, we everybody talk. We have place for everybody. So this sort of openness is what we encourage. And what Jayesh Shah did, like for example, in this one particular case you saw, that many have been treated.
Yes.
Now why should I be homeopathic? Ki only I have to treat that way. It is even making you open that sometimes even other things help. Yes. Like in the second case, he did not give the remedy.
Yes.
Though he had a remedy in mind, he did not give. So this wisdom also has to be there, that sometimes you don't even not to have to give homeopathy. There was one patient of obsessive compulsive neurosis, and I have got excellent results, and I have treat many patients, and there is one of the areas where I have got very good result. And this one particular doctor was coming to me for last 20 years since I started. How many remedies I tried, nothing happened. Finally I told him, you don't have OCD. This is your program. This is the payoff inside, and you are getting some benefits out of it. He also had a very big rapport, otherwise he would not come without result for 20. And then I talked to him, and there was a miraculous cure. I'll say, no, I should not do this because I am a homeopath.
No.
This is what I want to say. So as homeopaths, as allopath, I was not open to homeopathy. Now as homeopath, I am not going to be open to others. I don't believe in this. I am going to be open to other things as well. But this is our strength. But sometimes you have to know that some things can be treated other way also. It also opens we are not first homeopaths. I think first we are healers.
Yes.
So we have not to forget that as healers we have decided to do homeopathy because this somehow comes to us spiritually more easily. But then sometimes you also have to know that you have to also let it go and do some other treatment. So it's okay. But it's not that in all the cases we are doing this. These are exclusive cases. What Dr. Jayesha has shown is an exclusive case. Behind that, there are millions of cases where he have given with the medicines, homeopathy. So we should not pick one thing and say this is the whole truth. Like I will present one case of some unusual rare remedy and say that we all do this. It's not true. But we want to say that we can also prescribe this with this.
From being an allopath, you have been into homeopathy for so many years. What has been the learning as a healer?
Very much. I think it also, as I told you, it also depends on me. Because allopathy is very left brain, very Western medicine, fact oriented, objective. Whereas homeopathy is subjective science. So there is an objective science and a subjective science. As a allopath, if I come to you, I will tell you my symptoms and you are going to do all the job. Right? You will say, okay, you get your this blood test done, this investigation done, you get your MRI scan, and you are going to give me all the answers based on my objective symptoms. Whereas in homeopathy, it's a subjective science. I have to become completely neutral. I don't know anything. Everything is known by the patient and he's going to talk and I'm just going to be quietly, without prejudice, listen and go into his subjective world. So in a way, whatever I have studied as a psychiatrist is very similar because I'm going into the inner life of that patient. And I'm not going to restrict it and become only rubric oriented. I will go into his inner life wherever he wants to take me. And I'll have that open-mindedness. And this is what sensation method is all about.
That's great. From being an individual practitioner with his own practice, now you're practicing as a group here at the Song Academy. What difference do you see as an individual clinician and in a group practice?
No difference. I have my clinic which I am sitting there every day, and 1-2 days I come here and I am sitting. But this is a very democratic home. It's like in a house, I can be something, my wife can be something, my 2 children can be what they want. And there is no clash. I'm not going to tell my son to be like me or he'll tell me why are you like this. We can have some little arguments up and above. But truthfully, we respect each other's space and each other's individuality. So it's all about here. There are about 10, 12, 13, whatever amount of teachers are there. Everybody has their own forte, their own strength. Everybody does in their own way. But we all have that goal to heal and to take the patient the deepest possible way with a lot of sincerity.
What future do you see for the other Song Academy?
I feel this is the best thing that could have happened to homeopathy. So, and I believe something like this happens. And I know when it began, I was pessimistic like many of the people, but with the optimism and the confidence that Rajan Shankaran had, and the way he began it, I believe when you are doing something very truthfully, genuinely, with a good heart, and you are doing for the good of people, I think the universe helps you and supports you.
Yes,
and I believe this has happened. I'm surprised, amazed, and I see this. Whole universe is there in the process. And I sometimes believe that we feel we do. I don't believe that so. I think we are just a part of the whole system. Something is happening and we are somewhere instrumental to this and we surrender to this.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Gandhi. It was a pleasure talking to you.
My
I look
pleasure
forward
too.
to seeing your presentations tomorrow.
Sure. Bye.